And welcome back, everyone. Welcome back to another week of ESL Open Cup Asia number 231. I'm, of course, Showside VIP, and with me, I'm joined by the one, the only, the imitation innovation, the Tasia from Asia, the Meltar May of MMA. He's not as funny as Bunny, the Terran Igus, the one fine young Ryung, the Kel Lazar from Singapore, the TY Chicken Pie, the 4GG. He's more meme than dream, the slightly more crappy happy, the trash flash with no cash, the M to the K to the P. He's Marine King Pung, the captain of the pain rain train, the lean mean keen machine, the immature cure, the not as smart as heart, the young adult Bolt, the more of a beauty than beastie cutie, the co-creator of the Daishi Bay. We couldn't find a pun for Byan, the Masa from NASA. We like to call him Yakuzaku. That was only like half.
It's longer every time.
It does get longer every time. How does he do it? How does that's like 50% of Steel Mod's cast, by the way. That's
exactly. That is the job of the hand.
True. What's up, Yaku?
What is up?
It's good to be back. Good to be back once again. You know,
yeah.
we're making a habit out of this. You know, I know that you were gone for a while, but now every single week we go to ESL Asia.
Exactly. I'm back from the store, kids.
Oh. Did you bring me?
We are back a bit. Yeah. We are back. I'm feeling a little bit I don't know how to adapt to this change of order, but I'm sure we will as we load into our first game of the evening of ESL Open Cup Asia. We started off with speaking of things that we don't see too often, play we haven't seen in a long time. Anyway, we're here on Oceanborn. We're in the top left-hand corner map, spawning all the way in the top left. We have our orange Protoss player from the land of Indonesia, still on GDA team. We have Quantel.
And spawning in the bottom right hand corner, we have the South Korean Protoss player, the red Protoss representing Twisted Minds. It is Classic. Here we go. And yeah, as you mentioned, Quantel, a player that we're very familiar with, but we haven't seen him in quite some time.
Yeah, it's definitely been a very long while. Quantel has, for a very long time, been considered to be the best player from Indonesia. We saw him pretty often, semi-often in back when ANZ Champs was still around, in the Dare Cups as well. Was very, very active, but nowadays not as much. Taking a little bit of a step back and has been as active. I'm waiting for chat to catch up.
They're catching up, Bobby. They're catching up. But yeah, Quantel, as you mentioned, he's the best player in all of Indonesia, and he used to be very active back in the day. He used to be a very formidable player in the Southeast Asian scene, but we haven't seen him in quite some time. He did retire, or he did at least step away from the game, took a bit of an extended break, if you will. So it's great to see Quantel back, but this is quite a return. As he's returned, he's up against Classic in the first round.
Indeed, a very tough cookie to go up against very, very early on.
Cookie.
Yeah, I mean, you know, there's got to be some room on that chin.
Excuse me? Wait, what? What? The cookie's on the chin?
Where else would you store it?
Okay. I see you. Yeah. You can like open it up and there's like a compartment inside.
Exactly. It's like a Pez dispenser.
Ah, there you go. So you got Pez inside.
Exactly. Fueled by Pez.
The player.
Is how we know him as. Exactly.
Yeah. Yeah, again, it's great to see Quantel back. I'm excited to see how he performs. So far, you know, we've had some standard builds. Standard openers here in this PvP, just 2-gate openers all around into our expansions. Blink is on the way for both players as well. So far, nothing too major. We saw Classic try to slip in earlier, and really we're just focusing on scouting each other and trying to get a read on what we're up to.
Yeah, very, very cautious, which is about what we would expect from both our players. Quantel, after coming back for a very long time, and no reason to really shake things up too hard. Classic, I mean, I can't imagine he remembers Quantel. I want to say they played each other at least once in an online tournament, but yeah, Classic, I'm sure, isn't that familiar with Quantel and would just like to suss out how he likes to play and decide where to go from there.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, we're sussing him out as well, right? Like, because it's been so long, I'm curious if Quantel is back in form, back in shape. Is he just now returning and still trying to find his footing? You know, what kind of state of play is Quantel in? Is kind of a big question for us. So, yeah, we're kind of excited to find that out with everyone else. I mean, so far we are holding our own. You know, third bases are on the way for both players. I believe slightly faster for Classic, but nothing major. We do see Quantel slightly faster with Forge upgrades. Forge still on the way for Classic. Like, there's slight deviations here and there between our players.
Yeah, very slight deviations, but for the most part, we're just going to be facing each other with the gateway armies. Blink going to be a huge factor in these battles. Classic already has it, Quantel not too far behind, and Classic could be first player to push out. Apply a little bit of pressure on his opponent.
Yeah, the Observer does split the move out, so Classic dips in. He does apply some pressure. Shield battery is not done. Ooh, and we do catch a Stalker.
Not too bad. Nice little bit of force fielding. But we also have a little bit of multi-pronged. The wall is not a wall. Adepts do slip in, and Quantel brings the entire army back to face that Classic. It's a pretty easy time picking off quite a few more of Quantel's probes.
Yeah, Quantel was keeping up until he wasn't, right? Until the Adept slipped in. 7 probes go down. Very nicely done here by Classic. Didn't aim to kill Quantel, but did maim him. Did take quite a nice economic lead, as Classic is now up 8 or 7 or so workers.
Yeah, and that's a very hefty lead in a mirror matchup, especially this early on. Classic gonna extend that lead, or try to, by getting a much earlier 4th base. Quantel does not have eyes on this, but if he does push out, this is gonna be his path of evening things back up. But Classic making sure that Quantel never feels comfortable moving out. These are only 2 Adepts slipping into a mineral line, causing so much disruption, killing so many more probes, and more importantly, keeping Quantel back at home.
Exactly. These Adepts have been the MVPs for Classic the entire game so far, getting, what is that, 13 worker kills in total so far throughout this game, which is insane. And with that, in a mirror matchup, Classic has a massive lead. As long as he doesn't bleed out too much, as long as he doesn't get caught out by some kind of big crazy all-in, Classic should be fine.
Indeed, he should. And not getting caught out should be pretty easy for him right now, as Classic, not only is he ahead in worker supply, also ahead in army supply.
Oh,
Someone's serving. No! Body!
As we're experiencing a little bit of latency here, I was concerned it was going to be one of us, as we always are. We hold our breath, but it looks like Wardy is having some connection issues. Hopefully it clears up. Again, we are not the only English casters around. Wardy is also covering this, and hopefully things clear up on his end.
Those British cables, man, or those Blizzard cables, man.
True.
I should say. That was a bit of an issue a couple of weeks ago, wasn't it? Connecting from EU to KR.
Yeah.
It had a lot of abnormally high ping. Like, sure, you expect some high ping, but this was abnormally high, like higher than it should be.
Yeah, we got a little bit lucky. It was, yeah, as you were saying, it was a couple of months ago when every single ESL Asia, like, you'd get Wardy DCing, Roddy would DC, Steadfast even would. You get all these people DCing. We're fine. We're like, what are you guys talking about? The connection between Australia and Korea is beautiful. Like Singapore and Korea as well. But yeah, for whatever reason, like the routing or something like that was an issue with some of the Blizzard servers in Korea. So hopefully that isn't the case here, and hopefully it's smooth sailings from here on out.
Yeah, fingers crossed is what we have to say. This one observer has just been untouched this entire time. I'm only now realizing that Quantel actually does not, has only recently thrown down that robo facility. It's only now getting an observer of his own. This has been absolutely huge for Classic. He has eyes everywhere and has been able to keep Quantel in the dark for so long.
He really has, and as a result, because all that economic damage done earlier, it doesn't look like a lot because Quantel has been able to catch back up, but look at the supplies. That is reflected in the supplies, and once again, Classic catching up some of these zealots.
Yeah, a couple of reinforcements from Quantel will go down before they can really get much done. A little bit of a flank coming down here from Quantel. This is still a much better army for Classic, and Quantel is well aware of that. He retreats.
Yeah, again, those force fields, they were brutal, and unfortunately for Quantel, these are fake Archons. He could not break through the force fields, and he gets pulled apart. You know, he loses half his army, and now soon to be the other half as well, as Classic is looking to snowball out of control, takes a massive supply lead, and is chasing Quantel back.
Yeah, Quantel didn't look too far behind when it came to the army supply, but in the blink of an eye, in the blink of a couple of Stalkers, with 1 or 2 volleys on these Archons, immediately it plummets. Classic has a lead that he is not going to give up. Quantel is going to have to give up this game. GG is called.
GG, well played. A solid game there at a Classic again, especially in that towards those final moments. Some really beautiful force fields as well. Able to catch Zealots, able to slice up the army, able to catch even more Zealots as well. Just picking Quantel apart. So impressive performance there at a Classic. But a shout to Quantel because, again, we were a little bit concerned as to his game state coming into this, just because he's been on a hiatus for so long. But Quantel didn't look too bad in this game, outside of maybe a bit of a mismanagement of Adepts.
Yeah, macro-wise, I feel like Quantel was able to keep up very, very well with Classic. But like you said, defense and sort of splitting his army and his attention was kind of the weak spot there here from Quantel.
Mm-hmm.
And that was something that Classic was absolutely able to take advantage of, and something that I have to imagine he's going to want to do again here in game number 2.
Oh yeah, that's something that we have to keep our eye out for. We'll see if Quantel can tighten things up. I mean, I'm sure he is one to adapt over the course of a series, so I'm sure he's fully aware that the Adepts of Classic did too much. They achieved too much damage there, and he's going to be more attentive when it comes to defending against them here in game number 2.
Indeed. Yeah.
At least I'm sure he will.
Sweet. Mm-hmm. I feel a little thrown off my rhythm here. Still from the intro.
You're like, Light, I don't know where we are.
Where are we?
Where are we spawning in from? Well, what's going on? Where are we dropping?
Where are we coming from? You know, what is it called when it's like muscle memory, but it doesn't involve muscles?
Excuse me?
Memory?
Memory?
No, it's not just memory. It's instinct? Question mark? But you know what? We'll find our way, as we always do here, as we continue our series on to Elkione, where over here in Elkione, sorry, thrown off. We are going to be spawning in here on the bottom left-hand corner of the map, spawning all the way in the bottom left. We have our orange Protoss player coming out from the land of Indonesia. He is, of course, going to be representing GDA team. And we have Quantel.
And spawning in the top right-hand corner, we have the South Korean Protoss player, the red Protoss representing Twisted Minds, leading the series 1-0 so far. It is Classic.
So I'm not sure if my mic was able to pick up some drilling earlier on, but that felt like a sign, because as I was introing Quantel, I was in my mind thinking, okay, if we're gonna bring back my intro, then I have to bring back my intros.
I don't know.
And I have to extend it longer, but then immediately the drill came in, and I was like, oh, well, I guess that's a sign for me to wrap this up and have us get into the game.
I was gonna say that your intros never really left, but you're not wrong. Like, back in the day, your intros, they were significantly longer. They were like double in length, and you've since like tempered yourself a little bit.
I've shrunk.
Yes. Which is, you know, it's not a bad thing. It's not a bad thing, you know. It's fine. It's good.
Debatable. I mean,
it does its job.
Look, if we're coming in with the nostalgia stream, which I guess this is what we are today, then we should be accurate to it.
Okay.
Speaking of accurate to it, Classic being very cheeky this time.
Here we go. So we have a proxy robo here in the center of the map. Classic setting up for a one-base all-in. Meanwhile, Quantel is scouting. He's being very active with these 2 probes on the left-hand side of the map. Less so here on the right, as we have yet to really confirm what's going on. We can even see our Zealot checking the mineral wall as well. Quantel is quite paranoid about what's going on, but again, has yet to really confirm.
Yeah, I mean, I can't blame him too much, right? He went in with his scout and saw that Classic was missing a structure or 2, and obviously he knows that Classic is the type of player where if he senses an opportunity, if he senses weakness, he's going to take advantage of it. So Quantel, unfortunately, just misses the proxy. And even gets a couple of his probes.
Yeah.
Yaku cursed here.
Classic is
immediately we see a tap out. We don't even get to see that robo facility being used. That is gonna be the end. I'm thrown off once again.
GG, well played. Again, we saw a couple of workers trapped there by a pylon in the mineral line as Quantel was struggling to scout the missing pylon and the missing proxy. And as that was happening, 2 of them, they shaded into the main base, and that forced the tap out as well because probes were about to go down, probes that we could not afford to lose. And it was just a
couldn't escape.
Probes that could not escape, and it was just a rough game there for Quantel. Game 1 was a little bit more back and forth, but here in Game 2, Classic, he had enough. He wanted to get this over with.
Yeah, that was brutal, because I feel like that's important for you to bring up as well. Game 1 was a little bit more back and forth, right? It was a lot more standard. We saw that Quantel, without a doubt, could keep up with Classic when it came to macro, but game number 2, Classic had enough. He kind of sensed this is a weak spot for you. I can absolutely come in and disrupt your mining, disrupt your tempo, and I'm gonna do that with this proxy robo. Turns out I don't even need a proxy robo because yeah, my adepts are enough.
Oh yeah, they didn't have to, they weren't meant to be enough, but they were.
Yeah.
In the end, you know, we didn't need that big long intro. We didn't need that proxy robo. You know, sometimes just 2 adepts is all you need. Yeah, you know, just 2 adepts.
It's true.
Just short and sweet.
Oh, now that you mention it, now that you mention it, I was worried my intro was too short, but it still lasted like half the game. So we're back in 2018. We're back in 2018.
We're back, baby. Let's go.
Let's go. MD2 again. I'm young again.
Oh, no.
Let's go.
Not like this. Smooch.
I'm still allowed to watch teen dramas.
No, you're not. You need to stop it. It's a problem, Yaku. It's a problem. This is an intervention. But with that, GG, well played. Congratulations to the Classic as it does advance on. My condolences to Quantel, but I hope that this is the beginning of a comeback. We mentioned before that Quantel has been gone for a very, very long time. This is his first time competing in over a year, and hopefully he's tempted to come back again and again and again.
Yeah, here's hoping. I definitely hope that this series, and especially that second game, doesn't demoralize him too much, and especially because I feel like game number 1 especially, right? That's a really good replay for him to study when it comes to, you know, tightening up a couple of weak spots that he has. If he does decide that he wants to compete again, does decide that he wants to be more active, then yeah, I feel like this is a series that might be a little bit rough, but is hopefully one that he can get a lot out of learning-wise.
Oh yeah, exactly. That's the benefit of these mirror matchups when you're up against a player that is of higher caliber. You can take from it, you can learn from it, you can adapt from it. So yeah, I'm sure that Quantel is one to get as much value out of that series as he possibly can. With that, of course, GG, well played. Classic does advance on, and we can take a moment here, which we have yet to do so far in this broadcast, to have a look at the bracket.